Deprived.
And welcome back to the Sleep Deprived Gamers Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John, also known as John B. the Tank. And today I'm joined by George. Welcome back, George.
You finally had me back. I'm like, is this like an early Christmas present?
Early Christmas present. All right, so George, also known as Ninjatic, he is back today. And today we have someone new on the show. Brent, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Brent, also known as Walrus480 on Xbox.
All right, welcome to the show. So today the topic is next gen. Because when we're recording this, the PS4 just came out yesterday. And we've gotten a taste of next gen. We've finally gotten to see some of the games. Killzone, I got to play a little bit of Blacklight, even Battlefield 4. And I want the Xbox to come out now so we can compare the two. And so far, we've gotten a little bit of a taste. Actually, me, Brent, and George all went to the Boca Mall and played Killer Instinct and Forza 5 on the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you guys think about that? I thought it was pretty impressive.
I really like the controller mainly, especially with trying out Forza. Forza graphics look good, very fresh and, everything we would expect from next gen.
Right.
The controller especially was nice. It fit my hands.
We actually have our hands on the controller now.
Yeah, we have the accessories, extra controllers and everything. So, the controller fits your hands perfectly, in my opinion. For people that have smaller hands, I don't think it'll work out as well. But for the most part, it's relatively almost exactly the same as the 360 controller, except from what I've noticed, the handles are a little more flared out.
Right.
And the thumbsticks are a little bit smaller. But other than that, for the most part, it's still the same.
Thumbsticks are a little smaller. The triggers, I don't know if you noticed if you look at it, are a little bit on an angle going outward from the controller, from the center of the controller. Mm-hmm. The sticks, like you said, are a little smaller. But otherwise, they feel very comfortable, the controller.
Yeah, no, they do.
It's both PS4 and Xbox. They're both great. PS4 is it's an incredible upgrade over the PS3. And the Xbox One controller feels great. They fixed the D-pad. D-pad is finally fixed.
Well, it's something everyone's been asking for a while.
Right. What did you think about the two consoles? Because we went, before PS4 was out, to play both the PS4 and the Xbox One. What did you think, Brad?
Both very impressive. The Xbox controller, the tilt, I guess, to the triggers is very nice. Fits your hand very well. D-pad, yes, fixed. Makes it a lot easier to play those fighting games. Killer Instinct was pretty easy.
Right. That's right. You beat me, right?
Yeah, so that was a close game. I was losing that match for probably the duration until the end.
That's right. I got beat by you and Ryan, but I beat George.
Yeah, you beat the only person that sits to watch fighting games. I don't play fighting games, but I will sit and watch people play them for hours. And I'll sit there and yes, I will button smash the hell out of my controller.
I think that's how all of us play.
I beat George the entire first round. I was looking at the wrong character because we're both Jaga. Because I was the only character they had on there.
Well, and then I came back on you because
you almost beat me the second time.
Yeah, no, first round you beat me, second round I beat you, and then third round you ended up having over half life bar over me.
Mm-hmm.
And then right towards the end, and I almost brought it back. I was so disappointed.
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, Killer Instinct was great, and because it's free to play, I'm really impressed with the quality of this free to play game. And the fact that all you really have to pay for is the characters you want, because it's a fighting game. And if you don't pay for any characters, they're going to rotate the characters every week on the game. Mm-hmm. So you have a chance to play a little bit of everything. And then if you decide you really like this character and you want it permanently, you buy it.
It's like the League of Legends system.
Right.
Where it's you get a handful of heroes or champions or whatever
and they rotate.
Yeah, and you get what is it, about 10 or 15 of them?
Something like that.
You get to try them out, one for AD carry and support and jungle and all that. And then, after, I think it's 2 weeks or something, and then they rotate them, and it's okay, hey, if you want them, use your Riot points or whatever, but here's the next set of free stuff.
Right. And for Killer Instinct, they also have the Ultimate Pack, I believe is what they call it. and you get everything. The whole game is unlocked, all the characters, arenas, and all that stuff, and you get the season pass for the game for $10 less than buying a full game at the store. It's $50, and you get everything for Killer Instinct.
So basically, you're buying the game for $50.
Basically, yeah, you're buying the game for $50 and getting future DLC included. So that's a pretty good price.
Yeah, no, that is.
I like that sampler thing they have going on, switching them out every 2 weeks or so. Because, one, you're going to get your hands on every fighter. Two, no one's going to be spamming the same fighter if they're OP.
That's right. You're not going to have someone going who hasn't paid any money and, oh, yeah, I got this one move this fighter's going to do. Bam, 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 bam. They do it the whole fight through, and then you lose.
Yeah, it'll drastically reduce the amount of times that happens, with the free-to-play model and everything like that, and rotating characters. Now, obviously, if they go and buy that specific character, guess what? You're kind of SOL.
You're SOL. But by them rotating the characters, if you can only afford to buy one or maybe two characters, you get to try them all out and say, I really like this one.
Well, have they said how much buying a individual character is going to be?
They might have. I haven't caught it.
Okay.
I don't know the exact numbers. But otherwise, then the other game that Xbox had there was Forza. They had Forza 5, which gave us a feel for the new vibration in the triggers.
Yeah.
And that was interesting.
It was sweet.
Yeah, that was interesting. When you first launch off the line and you're like, ooh, what is that? It's vibrating by my index finger.
Yeah, well, and especially for me, only because since I'm a competitive gamer, I primarily only play first-person shooters, and I don't play with vibration on.
Right,
because the vibration
on at all.
Yeah, because the vibration will end up messing with your aim and the way you move and everything like that.
It shifts the whole controller.
So going to, even though it was a racing game, but being able to feel the vibration of the controller, you can clearly tell the pinpoint accuracy with the rumble in the controllers, and it's almost weird saying that. It's like rumbles accurate, huh?
Right,
what
because it doesn't only have the two rumble motors in the handles anymore. Yeah. Now it's got two on the bottom, two on the top.
Yeah.
So it can use that. Say you go off the track on the right side of your car, and then only the right side of your controller vibrates on the trigger and the handle.
Yeah.
And then you can feel that difference because the other side isn't vibrating at all.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting feeling. And the way that plays into playing a game like Forza is interesting because, like you were saying, how vibrating affects when you're playing a gun game, vibrating also affects how you're playing a driving game. So if you're losing traction with your wheels and you're taking a turn and that controller starts rumbling really violently, you're going to start losing where you are with your stick and maybe go off the track.
Yeah,
I did the first time when I didn't know about the how extreme the vibration can be now.
Yeah, I saw you. I'm surprised you didn't flip.
Yeah, I went off the track at like 40 miles an hour. Because I was trying to drift it. I was a hot shot. Stability off, traction control off.
Yeah, you went through and turned off all the settings. And I was like, dude, who you trying to impress? I'm the only one here. And the creepy guy at the booth.
Yeah, the creepy guy at the booth. He was kind of funny, though.
But I just thought, if it goes the right side of your car starts hitting off the track, and you feel that in the controller, then if you may not have known from... looking at the screen that you're going off, you'll feel it in the controller. You're going to know that you're getting off track.
Right.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who's next to you, and then all of a sudden it starts vibrating on the right side. You're like, oh, crap, you know what to adjust before you even look at the screen.
Yeah.
Another thing is about Forza is the immense graphics.
It's impressive.
It was better than... You played Forza 4, Brent.
Yes.
Auto Vista mode in Forza 4, where the cars were made with, I think, 1 million polygons each.
Sure. Yeah, at least.
The graphics were better than that.
They were. I'm baffled by how awesome it looks. I mean, the last one blew me away. I mean, you can only imagine how
you can only get so much better with cars.
Yes.
You can only get so much better with cars, and they're still doing it. You can see the brushes in the metal on the rims. It's insane.
Insane.
One other thing I want to mention about the Xbox One before we move over to PS4 when we played it. I went to the guide, but they didn't want me to explore the guide too much because it was still a demo console. And I guess they didn't have everything set up. But as what I got to see before they told me, don't do that, I saw they had Forza on there, Killer Instinct, and Loco Cycle.
Yeah.
Which they weren't demoing Loco Cycle, probably for the fact that people are having a big hubbub about the fact that it's a Spanish guy and a mechanics uniform being dragged by a motorcycle, yelling in Spanish in the entire game. So,
I don't see why. Like, that's so entertaining. But it's like people almost look for any kind of like reason to kind of bash video games in any way, shape, or form.
They don't have females
like,
in this game. There's nothing but Spanish people in this game. We're banning this game from Russia because that's all you get in the game.
Nice accent.
Yep.
I like it.
And Soviet Russia accent make you. So when you're playing,
like sometimes there's things you should say and some things that you shouldn't say. And that one maybe you shouldn't have said, but we'll go with it.
It's fine. But anyway, so I got to see a little bit. George, you were with me when I did that. When I went to the dashboard, looks fairly simple. I mean, black background. The square look like the 360 has now on its dashboard.
Yeah, it just looks like a more like a much better polished version of what we already have on the 360.
Right.
Like I don't know, like full on customizability with like possibly putting your own background in or something like that. I'm sure you will be able to if they did that on 360. I'm sure they'll do it for Xbox One.
Now there was a point where I don't know if it was you with me or if it was Ryan with me. We were playing. We went to play Killer Instinct and it froze. Was that you with me?
No, that was not me. Oh, wait, no, it was the map.
Right.
Because the character glitched, the character loading glitched.
The guy was like, oh, okay, don't forget, guys, it's a demo and everything, which is totally understandable. It's a demo.
Yeah.
He instant switched to Forza to unfreeze it, and, like, immediately Forza was running. And I was like, wow, okay, that's working really quick. And then he instant switched back, and bam, Killer Instinct was up.
Yeah.
And that instant switching is pretty quick. I'm actually quite surprised how well it works. Because they were talking about the whole instant switching at E3, and I was like, how well is this going to work when it finally comes to play?
Yeah, and especially, when with it only being like a demo dashboard, demo console or whatever.
Right, and it was still running pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
And the fact that the game froze, but unlike when the 360, when the game freezes, you're done. You can't hit the guide button, nothing works.
Yeah, sometimes
the game froze, he hit the guide button, and it worked. You can still, it's almost like the game, because they have the two different OSs. One that's running the dashboard, one that's running the games.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's still running, even though this one's got problems.
Yeah.
And then, like he was saying, it wasn't beta, but by that being shown to us, that shows a better functioning console than the 360 already. So, which is exactly what we need when we're going to a next-gen console for $500 for a new box.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was impressed with that.
My wallet hurts.
Oh, mine hurts too, because we got the accessories, George. We got the Xbox One controllers, the plug and play, and I brought in my copy of Call of Duty Ghosts today to upgrade to the One version. So now I have 3 Incredible One items that I can stare at with no console until Friday. So
yeah, well, that's kind of how it was with me with having Killzone sitting on my desk for the past 2 weeks, not being able to play it. I'm just kind of sitting there. It's like, one day I'll play you.
Yep. Yeah.
I would just dream
so
about it. I'd be like, this is what I imagine the game is going to be like.
Right.
I know, when I picked up my my Xbox One controller, I was like, I'm going to go home and pretend to play my Killzone game with the Xbox One controller while I sleep. It's like, use everything that I have except the consoles because they're not out yet. But luckily, got the PS4 finally, and didn't get the patch, the patch 1.5 bug or whatever that's been hitting some consoles.
Before we move on to us getting the PS4, let's talk about when we played the PS4 early, before it came out. So when we were there and we were playing it, the PS4, they didn't choose the best games for a demo.
No.
They had Knack and FIFA and a couple indie games I've never heard of.
But were the couple indie games actually playable, or were they just there?
They were playable, but they were like click adventure games.
But well, no, they're the same. They're the same games that are actually free for PlayStation Plus users.
Right.
So, which is, I think, like Contrast and
But they weren't the best games to display at next-gen console. I mean, the only thing Knack really did was show how many little particles can be on the screen at once.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you really can't expect them to play Killzone or Call of Duty or Battlefield, in a store where, like, especially, with it being a mall, there's a lot of kids around and stuff like that. So I don't blame them. But they did have
Killer Instinct going at the Xbox booth, and I believe that's rated M.
But, it's a fighting game. It's not like guns and killing people and stabbing them. You know,
Well,
it's like if it was Mortal Kombat, then I'd kind of be like, well, okay,
Mortal Kombat, probably
you know.
not.
But Mortal Kombat's like the most gruesome game like that you could really play.
Right.
You know, Killer Instinct. It's like, ooh, you punched a little blood out of me.
Right.
That
But
hurt.
there are still other games that could have shown. Like, for instance, maybe is Blacklight rated M or T?
But it's a multiplayer game, isn't it? Because
Yes. Yeah, it is.
So, how would you really be able to demo it?
AI?
Do they have an AI setting?
No, but they could make one for a demo.
So you're telling me they're going to make an AI setting for demo just to?
Yeah, I don't see why.
They're trying to sell their game. That it's free to play game with I'm guessing a lot of microtransactions. They want their product to be shown. They have to put the power, the step into it to show why is this worth buying.
I would have liked to have seen PlanetSide 2 because that's rated T.
Right.
You know, there's no blood.
Right.
There's guns, and it's a graphically beautiful game too. It's not like it's not like Warframe or something.
They can have the early version that they're showing off play against PC players just to show it off.
Yeah.
So I mean, NAC and FIFA weren't the two best games to show off. They could have showed off Need for Speed Rivals.
They could have. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't seen any gameplay footage for Need for Speed, so I don't know how graphically good it looks.
It looks great graphically. The gameplay is, well, I'm sure you guys know, I like simulation racers. I don't like arcadey racers.
Yeah.
So Need for Speed, kind of like,
Yeah, well,
So the game steers the car for you.
Right. I don't like that. I like to be able to control every aspect of my vehicle.
I'm such an arcade racer, though. Like, I want to see. I love Need for Speed.
You play Cruis'n USA, like the arcade?
Yo, don't even get me started. I have the N64 cartridge in my closet. Don't you?
I have Cruis'n USA too. I remember the first time I hit the cow when I was crossing the street, and I was like in tears because I was 4 years old and hit a cow with a car.
I'm sure I laughed when I did that. I just kept revving the pedal, making the
car do a wheelie.
Yeah,
yeah. They still do that now with the new Need for Speed arcade titles. Or no, the Fast and Furious arcade titles. That's what I meant.
I forgot about this.
You forgot about this? Oh, I saw one the other day when I was at the movies. Went to see Thor, the Dark World.
Oh, right, yeah.
So anyway, now the PS4 is out. Yesterday was the day it came out. And today we spent a lot of the day playing Killzone. And we tried to get Blacklight up and running. That didn't work. And we were playing Warframe. Was that the name of the other game?
Yeah, Warframe.
Warframe. And so far, graphically, the one I really liked graphically was Killzone.
Clearly.
Those were insane graphics. That was incredible.
Yeah, no,
polished.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Killzone definitely looks really, really good on the next gen. There's nothing you can really bash about it. I mean, it just looks good. It's solid gameplay. It's decent story so far. We played through the first 3 chapters.
Right.
Story mode's pretty good so far. Multiplayer does look graphically good, especially on the one map I played. It was really dark, but I mean, you still had a lot of the moonlight and the lights that are running on just generators. You still had that, and I mean, the lighting textures, the textures in general,
the shadows, the lighting, everything.
Yeah, everything just looks really good.
Explosions.
Right, fire. Yeah. But the games look great. Gameplay wise, Killzone's pretty good. The story is kind of hard to connect to.
So far, it's the most lacking, I think.
But again, remember,
we only played the first 3.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, you guys played off basically where I left off. You missed kind of like a big story, like developmental story part. But I'm sure you probably saw it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, I watched all those parts. I was trying to get, but overall, the story seems to be a little lacking. But if you're looking for the gameplay and the graphics,
definitely
Killzone's good.
Yeah.
Killzone's great. Again, like I said, we couldn't really play any Blacklight. Server issues going on. Don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, even as of right now, trying to log into it, but it's just not being friendly.
And Warframe looked pretty good for a free-to-play game. The graphics were still pretty good.
Yeah.
Free to play, very good graphics.
Actually,
Yes.
hey, look, Blacklight just went through.
Oh, look, Blacklight finally working.
Sweet.
Hey, look, the
Oh,
character
wow.
model on the screen looks okay.
Yeah, that's all right. It's not bad.
He looks shiny, you know. You see the blue lights.
Yeah.
But with Warframe, see, Warframe was originally on PC. You know,
Right.
it's still
And it
free
was
to
free
play
to
on
play,
there. Yeah,
right?
through Steam. You know, it's honestly, I like it. It's a lot of fun.
Third-person shooter hack and slash, you said?
Yes, because you still have guns, you still have swords. You actually get like almost armor modifications and weapon modifications to put on. You know, it's honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's co-op. There's no actual like multiplayer
Mm-hmm.
unless you consider doing like speed runs and stuff with your friends, like a multiplayer type of experience.
Right.
So, but other than that, it's more so co-op. I believe it's up to 4 players. You know, and honestly, it is fun. You know, if you get a bunch of people together and you're just playing, you're just slashing the hell out of everything. You're shooting guns. It's a lot of fun.
Now, I have a couple of quick questions for you, George, because you're the one who bought the PS4.
Yes.
I personally cannot afford it at the time, and neither can Brent. What do you think when it comes to the user interface now in the game?
You mean like on the dashboard?
The dashboard, the online store, apps.
Okay, so as of right now, the basic user interface with just the dashboard is pretty solid. To be honest, I mean it's very well to kind of navigate everything. It's very
Is it easier to navigate
self-explanatory.
than the PS3s?
Yes, I believe so. I was kind of always trying to figure out where the hell do I go for this? Where do I go for that?
Right.
This is honestly, it's simplified, but still Sony. You know, you have all your recent stuff right here on your main menu, you know, and then all you do, you go up, and at the very top bar, you have the store, your notifications, your friends list, messages, you know, any current party
That's right, they added
chat.
party
You know.
chat now.
Yeah, you know, and then just your settings, and the settings there's not like 30, 40 different settings. You know, they simplified a lot of it to about 15.
Different categories. You go
Yeah.
in and find everything.
So to me, it's a lot easier to navigate through that. Going through the PlayStation Store is a little it's a little sluggish at the beginning when it's first loading, but you know, if you give it a few seconds, then it smooths out, and then it's really smooth. As of right now, obviously, it's console launch weekend. You know, there's always going to be issues. We understand that, and just you know, constantly like you'll just get the random update that says PlayStation Store is undergoing maintenance. Please try again later. And then you just hit circle, hit X again to go back to it, and boom, it's up and running.
Right.
So, you know, it's just small little bugs like that kind of annoy you, you know, because it pushes you out to the main dash. But, I mean, if you're not really nitpicky, it's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
George, how many updates have you done?
To the console?
Yes.
Just to the console, only the 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that take?
Not long, believe it or not. I was kind of surprised it didn't take that long. I forget the size, but it took. I mean, I got home. It was about 12:15 or whatever, you know, on the day I got it, and it updated pretty quick. It wasn't slow or anything. It went pretty fast. It was about, I would say, probably about 5% every like 2 to 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a lot faster than it was on the PS3.
Oh, clearly, yeah. You know, with everything Sony's been doing, trying to update their systems and using Gaikai a lot, I mean, you could definitely see that there's an upgrade and it's a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm. Now, the touchpad
Mm-hmm.
was something that a lot of people have been wondering about on the PS4 controller. How do you feel about the functionality of it? Because so far we've seen it really utilized in Killzone a lot because that's what we were trying.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It's okay. I don't really want to really have an opinion on it just yet, only because the only actual usability that I've really had with it
The
is
swiping up, down, left, or right.
for Killzone and Warframe. You know,
Warframe uses it as well?
a little bit. But I didn't get too much into it with Warframe. Killzone, you only use it really for your drone, you know, for the zip line and the attack mode and the
Right.
hacking and all that. So, you know, it's nice. It responds fairly well so far, but I mean, again, you're only swiping in one direction. You're not actually using it to really like do any type of pattern or anything like that. And I'm sure games down the road, or if there are games now, are going to use that for more of a like pattern, or like let's say something like Assassin's Creed with like if you're picking a lock or something, you know, something of that nature.
Right.
You know, then I could see maybe it being used more, but as of right now, it's okay. I don't want to really go against it or for it.
Mm-hmm. You haven't really had a chance to really get the full feel.
Yeah.
And dwelling on when we went to the demos for the PlayStation, I was expecting them to have a game that really would have used the touchpad to show it off.
Right, because Microsoft, their 2 games they chose were to show off the D-pad that they fixed and the new rumble and the triggers.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony didn't really choose anything to show off their new touchpad or the or anything else. The way the new sticks are set up or the new triggers are set up. They had a sports game and knack, which really only utilized X, circle, square, triangle, and the sticks.
Not even. It was like 2 buttons and the analog sticks.
Right.
Yeah, in knack there was no it was just full walking buttons. Or anything.
Right.
Yeah, there wasn't really all that much to test. You really want to be able to test the triggers, the bumpers, and actually get a feel for the thumbsticks, which you didn't get that in the demos.
Right.
And it's like now that you get your hands on it, and you basically, like, anyone that really got the PlayStation 4 was kind of like, Sony, we're putting our money in your hands. We're trusting you that, you're going to do something really nice with the controller and you're not going to essentially screw us over. And I think the trust is well placed. I can see down the road the controller being used to a lot more of its potential. I already like how they implemented the light on the controller with your health.
Right, that was interesting. We saw that when I was playing Killzone. You guys were like, "Wait, the light's yellow,"
yeah.
and I'm like, "What?" And I'm playing the game,
and he's looking at his controller while playing, and it's like, "Dude, really?"
Yep. And then as my health went down, it went from green, which was full health, to yellow to red, and then it was flashing red when I was about to die. And it's a great feature, but if I'm playing the game, unless that's flashing off the wall ahead of me, I'm not going to put up the controller to my face and be like, "Oh crap, I'm dying," and run for cover in the game.
Yeah. Well,
another thing I wanted to point out, you pointed out to me earlier, there's speakers on the controller.
Yeah, there's a built-in speaker in the controller. I didn't see anything or hear anything, I guess you could say, with anything with Killzone or Warframe. The only way I actually knew about that is I went into the playroom, and the playroom, you have to have a camera, but they actually have a video that they demo in there if you don't have the camera.
Right.
And what it does, it essentially goes through everything that you can do with the camera, with the controller, and all that. And I thought it was kind of interesting.
Do you plan on picking up the move?
No.
No?
No, absolutely not. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not really into the whole motion aspect of gaming. I mean, yes, I understand the Xbox One comes with a Kinect and motion, but even at that, I wouldn't use it.
At that point, you're probably only going to use it for voice commands and facial recognition to get in, if anything.
If I can't do it through my own headset.
Right.
Which
I don't believe you can.
I would be kind of surprised, only because I remember Tom Clancy's, what was it called? And War?
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. You could use your normal headset and everything. And what we're talking about headsets.
Yeah. The PlayStation 4 headset is...
it's a piece of JIT. JIT. I cannot, I sit here and I was like, oh, okay, let me try the... It won't even fit on my ear. What the hell is this piece of crap?
Yeah, and Brent has some pretty big ears, and that thing didn't fit in there. So that thing would make Dumbo feel big or tiny. I mean, that thing is just.
It's not comfortable.
No, it's not whatsoever.
No.
I mean, you're going to hear, if there's an option, which I haven't looked at yet, to have voices go through your TV or your surround sound system, and you only use the microphone.
There was one more question I wanted to ask you actually about the PS4.
Yeah.
Because I heard the Xbox One takes about 13 seconds to boot up. Mm-hmm. How long does it take the PS4 on average?
To be honest, I really didn't pay attention to it all that much, but I would say it probably takes about after it gets through the from the time you see the PS logo, and it gets to the please read the manual if you have a history of seizures and whatever. After that, I think it takes about 15 seconds.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
It's not bad at all. It still runs pretty smooth.
Right.
And I mean, as you can even see right now, it's just...
Yeah, it runs smoothly.
Yeah.
It made your little picture for your name, your Facebook picture that took off there. It actually has your first and last name there.
Yeah.
Do other players say that, or is that only for you right now?
No, it'll only say it for me. Believe it or not, you can actually go, like, when you first set up your Facebook account on your PlayStation, it asks, for your Facebook email and password. And then what it'll do, the battery's low.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, there's nothing flashing on the controller.
I know.
Yeah, I was
I'm a little
expecting the light to
disappointed.
change.
Like a pulse or something, or a
That was
flash.
something else I wanted to point out real quick about the Xbox One controller. There was one thing I didn't think about until I got the controller, brought it home, and was looking at it, and I was like, how am I going to tell which controller is which player?
It doesn't have.
Well, but with the Xbox, you can connect up to 8 controllers, right?
I heard about that.
Yes.
How many can you connect with the PS4?
4.
Really? That's it?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
8 controllers. What the hell am I going to play with 8 people? If I have 8 people in my house, we're probably going to a club.
Maybe you could take the Kinect and your 8 controllers with you.
That would be an interesting night at the club. Probably had too much to drink if we brought that. Here's your controller. Just take a look at that.
Yeah. But with the whole Facebook thing, you can actually, like, when you go through, you can choose whether people on your friends list can see your full name or just your I guess you could say your persona, your online name. So obviously for me it's Ninjatic. So it's like people see me as Ninjatic.
I know what Xbox is supposed to be doing the same thing, not right away at launch, but eventually added an update. I'll probably, if people are on my friends list, I already probably trust them enough to know my full name. So if I can't trust you enough, you're probably not going to be on my friends list.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah. You don't want me on your friends list? No,
So, in your personal opinion, minus the games, does the PS4 feel next gen to you?
As of right now, no.
Why?
Just lack of actual entertainment value. It's the Music Unlimited is great. They give you 30 days free, blah blah blah. But there's no Pandora, there's no Last.fm, there's no actual music apps except Music Unlimited. So you're really restricted just to what Sony has,
right. And the
set
console
up
itself
for
doesn't
you.
support MP3.
Yeah, so video-wise, you still have Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll if you're anime.
Not a very large selection of apps, though.
No, there's 12 apps total that I've seen in here so far. I have dove into the PlayStation Store to constantly look. I've checked 3-4 times. All I found are 12. And honestly, it's like 12 apps, really? Like, one is Major League Baseball. Okay, well, that's great, day one when there's no baseball anymore.
Right.
The NHL Game Center app, which that's great. NHL season's going on, but for the majority of people, there's not a big NHL following here in North America, unfortunately. And most people just watch their local teams.
Right.
And if they have a favorite team, most of the time, to be honest, it's on like an NBC Sports Network or something like that. So those 2 apps essentially are to me, are kind of like useless. Netflix, Vudu, the Amazon app, Crunchyroll, and there were a few others like the Redbox and Epix.
Right.
They're great and all, but it's like you have 7 different movie apps and Yep TV that I've never even heard of before.
Right. And then Xbox is bringing things like the Machinima Snap thing where you can say Snap Machinima and it'll bring up a guide for exactly where you are in the game where you pull it up. Like those kind of things are what I feel so far the PS4 is lacking. Though it did just come out, and they are going to be adding a lot, I'm sure, in updates as it goes on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely expect them to release a lot, definitely down the road. But I just don't see, I don't see I don't see next gen right now. B, I honestly, the price point is fine. Like the $400 is a good price point. It's a next gen console for gaming. It's not really your essentially your media entertainment center, as in like the Xbox One's pushing for. But I still don't feel it's. Honestly, I would not have been that disappointed if they kind of waited a couple months or
Just
even
add a
waited.
couple more things to it.
Well, because I mean, you look at it. The most I've done on this is watch Netflix, and which is disappointing. It's like, don't get me wrong. Like, I have games for the console,
right,
but
watch Netflix, played a little bit of Killzone, and that's pretty much it so far.
Yeah, there's really nothing in the games look good
There's
graphically.
Nothing that made you go when you bought this at midnight and say, "I'm not going to bed tonight."
Yeah, no, I mean, I got it. I updated it. I played it for a few hours, and it was all great and all. But it's like. It's like, look at this. Like, these are all your apps. And actually, sorry, it was not an MLB app. It was an NBA app. So,
they didn't bring back. They had an MLB app on the PS3. They don't have it anymore.
I mean,
I guess just not yet.
Maybe they'll probably bring it back right in a few months. More closer towards like when spring training starts. But right. I don't. Right now it's the
probably
NBA
launch
app.
it when the season launches, so that way they launch like some kind of new thing with it.
Essentially, yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we got the Xbox One coming out next Friday.
This coming up Friday.
This coming Friday, and I'm real excited. I really want it. Right. I want to see what Microsoft has to bring to the table. Now we have the PS4 in our hands. What can the Xbox One do for me?
To be perfectly honest, I think Xbox is gonna win the console launch. Even if they don't honestly, even if they don't sell.
From a next-gen perspective, getting hands-on with both, to me, the Xbox One feels more next-gen, even though it has a little less power.
But, as of right now, I want to see what the Xbox One is actually going to have on launch day. Apps, obviously we already know the games that are coming out.
Wasn't Minecraft supposed to be a launch game for PS4?
Got delayed.
It got delayed?
Yes.
Okay.
They pushed it back, along with, 5 other games that were meant to be launch titles.
Right. Watch Dogs was supposed to come out too.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's one thing that kind of plagued the launch of that plagued the launch of the PS4, and will probably also plague the launch of the Xbox One.
Right.
I don't know.
Lego Marvel was almost delayed, and then as of yesterday, apparently it's not delayed anymore for Xbox One.
Yeah, so I think it was because they needed to add more characters or something like that.
Something like that. They were having a problem doing something, and then they fixed it. They were like, "Oh, okay, we're ready. Never mind, not delayed."
Yeah. But honestly, I think the Xbox One is going to deliver. I think it'll deliver more on day of launch. I still don't know if they're going to have. Do you know if they're going to still have those? Not everything is going to be available in all states. Thing. You remember when they first announced the console and everything after the E3 press conference? They had someone asked questions, and I think it was either Major Nelson or Dom Maddox or whatever his name is. Said, yeah, he said it's not all the features will be available for all states.
I don't remember that specifically, and I don't remember what it was they would have said specifically. I haven't seen anything recently, so I'm guessing whatever it was about probably doesn't exist anymore. That probably fell back along with the Always Online.
Yeah, I mean, they ended up going back on a lot of the stuff that they were talking about.
Right. It turned out it was a switch they could just turn off.
Yeah.
So, although I would have liked to see where Microsoft would have went with that, because it felt very Steam-like. And Steam, if you've ever played PC games, is good. Because Steam has sales, and those sales save you money. And
the Steam Summer sale?
They don't save you money. You buy a lot more, but for a lot less. I have 200 games on my computer, and I've probably only played 15 of them. But they're all there for when I want to play them. So,
yeah, whenever you decide to get around to it, 15 years from now.
Yeah. I can probably play those games for the rest of my life and never beat all of them.
Well, see, because what they do is they'll have the individual games for drastically reduced, but then they'll bundle almost all those games
for 25 games, and it's sold.
Yeah, and it's just so many games, and the sad part is it's Left 4 Dead. It's get Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 for $5 when you're really only getting Left 4 Dead 2, because you're just that's the current version of the game. Almost everything has been ported over from Left 4 Dead 1 to 2.
Right.
Yeah, we fall for it.
Yeah, no, we do. We do, because we're gamers. We're honestly, when Steam has a summer sale, we're window shopping and we're impulse buyers. We're gotta have. I'll never play it, but I'll buy it.
And then we boast how much games we have.
And then Steam now trying to work their way into the console market with the Steam Box now.
Yeah.
They're sending out 300 betas out for that?
300, yes.
not too crazy about what the controller looks like for that.
Yeah. I think I'll have a stronger opinion when I get to use the controller. It does look weird, yes. It looks like it's got two subwoofers on it.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's got two speakers, and you're going to grab the controller and it's going to wah, 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 boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, man.
If it did that, I think I'm sold.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, I'm just kind of worried about the Steam box because I want it to be successful. I really do. But at the same time, it's like, I don't see how the Steam box can be successful. Only because, A, it's not really next gen. Mm-hmm. B, it's primarily Steam games. B, like, there's so much hardware, but it's also Linux-based. And you just kind of sit there and it's like, well, so Steam is just going to sit on all these games that they've developed for Linux now until they get the Steam box out. And then what? Like, are we going to get a Team Fortress 3, essentially, that has been built from the ground up? Or are we going to get, like, a Half-Life 3, potentially? Which, everyone wants Half-Life 3, but Valve and Steam are just like, you never know. We'll think about it. Sleep on it.
There's I have no idea when that's coming out. We'll never figure it out until they're like, Half-Life 3!
Yeah, they have to say it, and then it's like, oh, yay, magic. Did they ever come out with the Half-Life 2 Episode 3?
I don't think they ever did.
Because I thought they teased that for a while, and then, like, that never came out or something like that.
It's going to be Half-Life 3/4 of 2.
Half-Life 3/4 of 2. That's good.
Oh, man. Just everything going on right now with consoles, Steam trying to get something going on for console with a console PC hybrid.
Nintendo's still doing their own thing.
Nintendo's off in Fairyland, and they're still sticking with Super Smash and Zelda and all that.
The Rayman, what's the new one?
Nintendo, at this point, if they don't do any better, they're going to be that homeless guy on the side of the street saying, "We want you to play! We want you to play!"
I remember the golden days.
Yeah, like, honestly, the biggest thing that I miss from Nintendo, honestly, straight up, is, like, what they used to do with all their older consoles, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64. And, I understand those are, like, the glory days, the childhood days, the days that you wish you could go back and like, there was multiplayer for those games.
Right.
But, like, you just don't see, like games like that anymore. You don't see, like, a Battletanks Global Assault. You don't see, like, a lot of these big third-party title games, like, for Nintendo anymore. Honestly, all I ever see is first-person. Or not first-person, first-party.
Nintendo is a machine for Nintendo games. That's all it is.
I mean, it's like, how many Super Mario Brothers U 3 and 4, 5, and Party Edition?
I'm Mario'd out.
I know, like, and to me, that's one of the biggest problems with Nintendo. They're pushing Mario so much, they're pushing Zelda so much, with
I can only jump
Link
on
and all that.
Goombas and save the princess so many times before it becomes a little repetitive.
Pretty soon, Zelda is going to have a go-kart game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I really feel that Nintendo is trying to essentially just milk the hell out of everything they can. And right before they hit rock bottom, I swear that they're sitting on the Pokemon MMO that everyone is just, like, for years, since like Pokemon Red came out, like, everyone's been like, oh, can we get, like, an online version of this where we can just play whoever and do everything on, like, a global scale against millions of players? Because, even if it was subscription-based or whatever,
they would make a lot of money off it.
They would. I would believe in the first month they would have more than WoW. Exactly. I mean, like, because you look, they still make all the TV shows and everything for the younger generation. The older generation still, honestly, deep down inside, we're all diehard Pokemon fans.
Oh, yeah. I was playing Pokemon X earlier today on my 3DS.
Yeah, we want a Pokemon MMO, and if there was some type of compatibility between, like, the 3DS, 2DS, and the Wii U, I promise that it would probably be the most successful thing. And they could probably have that game run for 10, 15 years from the day they launch it. Like, I mean, you look at World of Warcraft right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they are losing subscribers, they still have, last time I checked, they had about 7.4 million subscribers.
Wow.
They still have millions. They are still the number one subscribed MMORPG.
And they just announced new DLC.
Yeah, which honestly, I think looks phenomenal. Honestly, I love the way it looks.
I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Dude, Garrisons looks awesome. Like
that's the RTS kind of feel you said to it, right?
Yeah, where it's like you could essentially build an army and stuff like that. There's like you have a leader, and you kind of build him up, rank him up, and
that's kind of cool.
You could build weapons and crap like that.
Never got into WoW, but I might try it out, see what it's about.
I'll let you borrow my account if you need to.
Nah, I'll be fine. I think that's about it. I mean, we talked about a lot today. It was already a little bit longer than our average episode.
A little bit. We just crossed 45 minutes.
Did we really?
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah. Matt's going to love editing this episode.
We love you, Matt.
Yep, love you very much, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep, thanks for joining us today, Brent. How'd you feel about your first episode?
It was exciting, very fun.
Good. It's good to just talk about games, isn't it?
It is very fun.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank the PS4 and everything you've tried so far?
7.5.
Okay. John?
Because I don't have my hands on it and I can't do a legitimate review for it, I'll give a very not accurate number right now. I'd give it a 7.8.
Okay. See,
as a next-gen console and what they promised, 7.8.
Yep.
If, as of right now, I would probably give it around a 5 or a 6. There's to me, there's just not enough with it right now.
5 or 6, that's pretty low.
There's honestly, like, this is all they're giving us.
That's like almost return it to the store territory there.
Return it to the store territory falls into 2 or 3.
Okay.
Like honestly, like it does not feel next gen yet. I honestly think they should have waited, even though some of the games did get delayed. Like, I would probably push it to a 6, only because Watch Dogs was delayed, Minecraft was delayed. And I'm sure there was other games that were delayed as well.
PlanetSide.
PlanetSide 2. That's honestly probably the reason I give it a 6, because I want PlanetSide 2 so damn bad already. Like, it's pissing me off. They kept saying PlanetSide 2 coming over to the PlayStation 4 sometime in the near future. Damn it!
All right. Well, we'll be back probably same time next week with the podcast after the Xbox One comes out and comparing the two consoles, as well as talking about how our experience is on the Xbox One when we get our hands on it. I'm getting one. George, you're getting one. Brent, you're going to have to wait a little while before you get one.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till about March.
Matt is still on the border on whether or not he's getting one right away at launch.
Did he pre-order it yet or no?
He didn't pre-order it.
Oh.
So if he's going to get one, you better get to that store very early.
I don't think there's going to be any extra consoles at the store.
Probably not.
I doubt it.
How many people were at the PS4 launch? Like 45 people?
At our GameStop, there was about, I want to say, I saw numbers up to about, I know the actual numbers that they handed out, I saw up to like 33. Mm-hmm. And that was at about 11 o'clock.
And that's not counting the people who were there who hadn't pre-ordered the console.
I believe that was included.
Oh, okay.
Or like people who were there to try to get their hands on a unpre-ordered console.
Right. Okay.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Any last things you want to input real quick, guys?
Nothing on the top of my head.
Not really? Well,
yeah.
Thanks for joining me, Brent. Thanks for joining me, George.
Yep.
Stay tuned, guys. We will have more information and more episodes coming. Sorry about all the delays. We haven't had an episode up in a couple weeks. A lot of things going on. Going to try to stop that from happening again, but stay tuned. Remember, guys, stay sleepy. Game on.